The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week we'll be starting with Rick Milne. Rick, what's happening in Honeoye Falls?
Well, thanks, Chris. It's nice to see everyone again. Pretty brief commentary today. I think, we want to focus a little bit again on the construction projects in the village, but really I want to focus more around safety. So a couple things. First of all, the good news is the projects are moving along very well. We are on schedule, on completion target date for our projects. And I'm talking, of course, about the projects on West Main Street, between National Fuel and the Village of Honeoye Falls projects that Rochester Earth is working on. The new sidewalks are getting ready to be poured on Friday, or starting that at least. So that project is really moving forward, and the curbs are in, both granite curbs and concrete curbs. It's really looking very nice. We're excited about this project. We're really looking forward to having it completed. And more importantly, or equally important, I think, are going to be the bump outs in the new crosswalk in front of the post office. I think that's going to be nice for a traffic calming device, but also the safety of people crossing. And that's always a very busy crosswalk area within the village. So we're excited about this. The New York State DOT has indeed also started the project that I've been talking about on the East Street Bridge, or underneath the East Street Bridge by the Village Hall. Their work has started, and that's moving along fine also. The thing I want to focus on today, though, is from a safety standpoint, all of the sidewalks where there is construction are very clearly closed. There are barrels up. There is tape up. There is signage up that says sidewalks closed. In the village parking lot at the town hall, a walk area was created between the construction area and the parking lot itself. We've created a sidewalk area for people to walk in. We've had two instances now in the last week that I've seen. We did have someone walking in a closed area, and that person did fall. There's been no reports of it, but I visibly saw it. And we also had this morning, while there were trucks on the sidewalk marked that was marked closed on the East Street Bridge, I had a resident walk around the sidewalk closed sign, walk up onto the sidewalk that is supposed to be closed, and then walk down into the street around the trucks and continue on. This was right at the time that, people are going to school, people are going to work, traffic is a little bit heavier. And folks, we just have to really be aware of the signage, cognizant of these signs, and please don't walk through the construction sites. There are plenty of crosswalks, whether it be at the Four Corners or up the road from the post office, wherever you need to cross, there are some crosswalks within a relatively close distance. We need people to be safe. We want not only our residents to be safe, but we want our construction workers to be safe. And if they're swinging tools around, or they're bringing something up from below the bridge, back up over the sides of the bridge to get more supplies, and all of a sudden someone's standing there, they might not see them. So folks, let's please give the construction workers the space that they need. And as Supervisor Moffett mentioned a couple weeks ago, the same goes for our DPW staff, whether it be town or village. Our crews are out there all the time, mowing, working on sidewalk projects, working on street projects. Slow down, obey, pay attention to the signs, give them their due so that they can get the job done properly and safely so that everyone goes home safe at the end of the day. So that's really my focal point today. The last thing I will bring up is that in 2 weeks, Tuesday, June 18th, our summer concert series does start at Harry Allen Park every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we are opening up this year with Uptown Groove, which is a great band from the Rochester area. And they always bring a lot of people, and it's always a lot of fun. So 6 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday night at Harry Allen Park in the gazebo. Good Vibes Flowing is starting, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks again, Chris. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Rick. And it's over to Mike. Mike, what's going on in the town of Lima?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having us again. I'll just roll down through the dates here. We've got a lot coming up in June. June 9th, the dog park dedication is taking place. There will be a whole bunch of events coordinated with it, with the Girl Scout troop and some other things. Bring your dog, be part of the celebration. That is at 1 p.m. at Mark Tubbs Park, right at the Dog Park Pavilion on June 9th. Also on June 9th, from 11 to 7 is the German Festival. Take Route 5 and 20 between Lima and West Bloomfield and follow the signs. And I will probably see you there. The next water workshop that we are holding, being run by the Livingston County Water and Sewer Authority, is going to be Saturday, June 15th, 9 a.m. at the town hall. If you would like a paper survey to fill out and send back, you can call Sarah Wright at the Livingston County Water and Sewer Authority at 346-3523. We will be closing out the survey on June 30th. Conversations with the county, this is with County Administrator Ian Coyle, is going to be Thursday, June 13th at Fanatics out in the outdoor pavilion area. He is bringing with him representatives from the planning department at the county and from the highway department to discuss the fiber optics rollout and to discuss highway issues. So please come out and listen to what they have to say and ask questions. June 20th is the next Pumpkin Festival meeting. That's going to be taking place at 6:30 p.m. over at Mark Tubbs Park. If you're interested in participating in the Pumpkin Festival, or you have any questions for Steve Werner, who's the organizer, that is the place to be. There will be a Republican primary here in Lima on June 25th. It'll take place here at the town hall from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is a congressional primary. Thanks again to Congresswoman Claudia Tenney for helping Lima to receive $1.1 million in congressional funding. The return of your tax dollars is going to be used for the town hall, the courthouse, the library, and the highway garage. And the projects do include heating and cooling, insulation, a expansion of the food pantry, meeting space improvements, and a bunch of other things. So we're excited to get that started this summer. And that's all I've got, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Mike. And now it's over to Steve, fresh from his reading of Don Hellhart's proclamation. How you doing, Steve? And what's going on in Henrietta?
Good. Besides the naming of Don Hellhart Way. So for those who don't know, we're talking about Don Hellhart, Guinness Book of World Record holder for longest tenured news anchor at a single station. Just retired. And we named the small section of road that at the end of Calkins that goes to Channel 13. We named it Don L. Hartway. So he was very touched and pleased by that. Surprise to him. As far as the town goes, big update on the town court. We finally have power. It's taken forever. I won't go into it, but any developer knows the headaches we've just gone through with RG&E, because I'm sure they've gone through them as well. So long overdue, but it's finally in. Interior finishes are going in. So we're still on schedule for a late July opening, although we may not have exterior wall panels at that time. They've been delayed multiple times. They swear they were shipped this week, but we'll see. The good news is they're not required for a C of O. We will be able to, they will be for a full C of O, but we could get a temporary C of O and actually operate the court. Even without those wall panels, the building will just look a little funky. At the same time, we've rebuilt the parking lot and the main entrance. Binder pavement has gone down. We milled up some of the old pavement. We reworked the front entrance. Signs for the new traffic patterns are going in soon, which is good, because the decisions some people make when they come up to a traffic circle befuddle me. We have people turning left and going the wrong way around the traffic circle. So I don't get it, but when we do that, when we're planning on rededicating the roads, we're gonna use some new names. Right now, that's Columbus Circle. I intend to, we haven't officially selected new names yet, so I'm gonna hold off saying the names, but my proposal to the town board was that we name them after historic individuals, such as the first town supervisor, Henrietta. There's, in addition to renaming Columbus Road, there's 2 additional roads that were created. They're mostly, I'll call them parking lot roads, but they're public roads technically. So getting excited about that. It'll be really nice to have it finished. I've already been using the new road, even though it's only binder and not top course, but it is so much nicer to get out to Highland Drive, because I don't have to, you used to have to wind your way through the parking lot, and a lot of the DPW workers have very long trucks, which sometimes stick out in parking space. In fact, when we put in this new parking lot, I specifically added some 22-foot long parking spaces to accommodate those trucks. The bids for the spray park building came in over budget. So I'm working with the winning respondents on how to reduce the building costs to get it under budget. We're probably just going to go from 4 restrooms to 3. And in addition to the reduced plumbing costs, plumbing fixture costs, what that allows us to do, the width of the center area was dictated by the size of the spray park manifolds. Because we're getting rid of one of the restrooms, that will allow the manifold to extend into that space, which means we can shrink the center part of the building, which will reduce masonry costs, roof truss costs, whole 9 yards. So I'm confident we'll be able to get that under the budgeted costs that was included in the referendum, and still have a really nice building. So I will say construction prices are just silly. I don't know why they're still so expensive after the pandemic, other than I guess companies feel they can get that much money for things. The Monroe County DOT is reconstructing East River Road. They're improving shoulders, lengthening turn lanes, even adding center turn lanes in some stretches. At the same time, they will be completing our multimodal path along the road. We combined the work with the county work so as to save taxpayer dollars. So it all went out as one bid package. You save on the cost of the folks, deploying to the site and all that stuff. And in addition, there's other economies of scale, especially since this is a paved multimodal path. So it's the same type of construction as what's going on in the road. So in fact, we believe we're going to wait till the receipts are in, pay apps are in, but based on the initial estimates, we should actually be able to extend the multimodal path either up further north on East River or further east, or go east on Bailey Road, thanks to the tax payer savings. The reason we would do that instead of just pocketing the money is we got 1.25 million in state funding, 3/4 of that from Senator Patrick Gallivan, he's no longer, they basically gerrymandered and he's no longer covering Henrietta, but he was when he obtained the funding, and then $500,000 from Harry Bronson's. Harry's money is also to improve all the pedestrian crosswalks. There's a lot of student housing along there, so this will allow those students to walk safely or ride their bikes or whatever kind of means they want to go to get up to campus without having to drive. So it's been a long time coming. It's one of the huge frustrations I've had in this job is how long it takes to get anything through the state. But it's great to see it finally come into fruition. We've got a number of events coming up. We have our multicultural event, which basically one of the things we noticed is that even with all of the varied cultures in our community, we weren't getting great participation from those cultures in a bunch of the events. And so we reached out to leaders in those communities and talked about why that is. And, a lot of it is, so for a lot of the folks, they're immigrants, they're refugees, they're new to America. They don't fully understand or are integrated into our culture yet. And so we created an event last year that fits, again, specifically geared towards those large cultures within our community, including the food. That plays a big part of it. So this will be the second time we're doing it. We do it in conjunction with the school district, and the school district helps tremendously because that's how we know which languages are spoken heavily because their students are typically enrolled in the school. So it's a great event. Looking forward to that. I'd give you the time, but I don't have it off the top of my head. We've got our first June 19th celebration coming up. Our union decided not to take June 19th off, but we're still having the celebration. It's going to start in the evening. So we're actually moving our town board meeting up on the 19th to 4:30 so that we can, at the end of the town board meeting, we can go to the celebration. Our Pride event is coming up as well. And then, of course, further out is our 4th of July. The Pride event, I guess this would be I think it's our 6th annual. It's 5th or 6th. Can't remember which year we started it, but really great event. And a lot of community support who pretty much they put it on in conjunction with the rec department, but a lot of community support for having that run. And our 4th of July, the nice thing is with our reconfigured ballparks, we used to have a baseball diamond right at the top of the hill, which was kind of inconvenient for our 4th of July celebration. We reconfigured our ball fields, so that's no longer there. So we should have a larger and even better layout and more prime viewing of the fireworks. So just had our meeting with all of the sheriffs and EMS folks on planning for the large event, and very excited about that. And then last I'll mention, there's been some work on Calkins Road in terms of we worked with Monroe County DOT to put in new camera controlled lights. Their plan was to do some of that upgrade next year, but we were able to push it up to this year. Because when you mill the roads, you take out those induction loops. Well, the new camera controlled ones don't need induction loops. So we will never, that saved us over $16,000 in not having to reinstall those loops, which paid for one of the cameras. And so we paid for a second camera and Monroe County paid for the third. So the good news about that is they can be fully controlled from the Transportation Operations Center. So for the Memorial Day Parade for the 4th of July, like that light at Highland and Calkins, they can have it so that it's the only turn you can make there is eastbound left turn or a southbound right turn. So those two arrows can be on the whole time during the parade or during the time when Calkins Road is closed down for the fireworks. So that will help tremendously from a traffic control standpoint. And then we had a meeting with the Monroe County DOT. They're going to be redoing the portion between East River and Pinnacle. They came out with a plan last year that the residents who live there all hated. And so we'd called a town meeting. We'd had Monroe County DOT folks there. We had our county legislators there. We had the county executive there, and they basically postponed the project, went back to the drawing board. So it's starting up again this year. We just had a meeting to go over what the residents were interested in seeing, what the town's interested in seeing. And then yesterday, there was a walk on that section where they basically walked through and took a look at, I think they called it a walk audit, something like that. And they basically got a ton of feedback from residents as to, what specifically do they want to see. So we're going to start with the plan that we put together in conjunction with the DOT, and then incorporate in that feedback from the community. So we're hoping that we'll have a really good solution, and one that, whereas anyone who's been in government knows it won't please everyone, but hopefully it will please the majority of the folks. So very excited about that. And, again, I just want to reiterate how great the Monroe County DOT is to work with. There was a communication mix up on when the cameras needed to be put up, and they hustled and got them up in 2 days so that we didn't have to put the lights on timers instead of on sensors. So they're just phenomenal to work with. So that's it.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Over to John in the town of Mendon. What's moving in Mendon?
How's everybody today? Glad to be on as usual today. We recently had the Mendon Fire Department Carnival and Parade. It was great to see so many of our residents at the Carnival and at the Parade. Appreciate everybody coming out for that. Also, I did want to mention on the negative side of things that we've had some vandalism at the spray park late last fall, this spring, including somebody throwing something up against the siding, chipping the siding, riding bikes around, putting some marks on the concrete from the tires on the bikes, which is not a huge thing, but it still takes time for somebody to get a pressure washer down there and clean that. And some damage inside the restroom. So if there are people who have spare time on their hands to do those types of activities, we will come up with something constructive for you to do for the town of Mendon. So, this has been a great asset, I think, to our community, and we want to keep it nice. So if you're aware of anybody doing anything harmful, please feel free to let me know who that is, because I'd love to have a conversation with them and maybe introduce them to something like a weed eater at one of our parks. Let's see. A few changes here internally at Town Hall. We now have off-site HR services and finance services, which we have never had before. We have done this because of all the mandates that come down from the state and federal government regarding human resources. We want to make sure that we're in compliance with everything and that we have the background for our employees so that they can have all the laws and litigation or I shouldn't say litigation, all the laws and rules and regulations that are in place at their disposal and to protect the employees as well as the town. Let's see, Summer Rec will be starting up soon. I know registration's been going on. Just as a FYI, the town of Mendon does store the Summer Rec equipment in the basement of the former library, which of course is now being housing the Girl Scouts. They have the new Girl Scout house that was dedicated recently, but I'm really happy that we've been able to utilize that building, being the youth center in the back portion, the Girl Scouts in the older portion towards Monroe Street, and of course in the basement we house all that Summer Rec equipment. So they'll be coming down, pulling all that equipment out, taking it up to the school in the next couple of weeks. Also, Route 64, I'm sure everyone's happy that it has been paved. A final coat, first coat was kind of put on last fall. It's been paved, it's been marked, and there are some new markings for turn lanes. So please be aware. Couple of those intersections on Route 64 have had some serious accidents in the past, one being at Boughton Hill and 64. So there is some new striping there. So I encourage everyone to obey the speed limit and certainly pay attention to that striping and be careful out there. And that'll cover it for me. Thank you.
All right, John, thanks. Anything else from Rick or Steve? Seeing nothing. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for watching. Remember, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This program airs every Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Those platforms will notify you when the broadcast begins. That's all for this week. Oh, wait, and you could always read the transcript in the paper. I keep forgetting to plug the paper in this. But that's all for this week. See you all later. Bye-bye for now.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.